Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing good on this crazy week. DM is in the place already. Good to see you. So yeah, before I forget, smash a like if you appreciate. Oh wait, for the end maybe to see if you liked it. Yeah, so we're gonna dive right into what we have to talk about, which is the main target for this bull run, right? And after I'm gonna dive in a bit into the lower time frame, review maybe a bit the count that I had and alternative one, and yeah, we're gonna try to keep that straight and clear, efficient as possible. Modi Pillar is here. Good to see you. So, in terms of very high time frame projection, we had, or I have, one main count that I've been looking at, which is I've been the same for a few years now, right? Might be some alternative to look at, but that is a very sensible count so far. I most likely, I'm not the only one to look at the same one for sure. Elliott Wave is no magic, right? There is some rules and guidelines, so of course many people are gonna end up with the same idea, right? So not necessarily breaking news, but that give us some important information here. So the idea was simply that we are working on a macro 5-wave count here, with the first wave being from the beginning of Bitcoin to 2013, and Mt. Gox bear market here in 2015 being wave 2, this being wave 3, and the idea is that we are still into a bigger 5th wave here. It's because we had even if it was it's quite a nice bull run, right, during 2020-21, it still missed target that many were looking for. It was kind of short, seeing some less gain into that run, right? And we also had quite an important wave 1-2 retrace here, which we could see this run as a 5th wave here and things complete, so have an alternative count. But that also make this idea being all this bear market that we experienced since 2021 top, and the whole time high being wave B of a flat here, all of this being just a wave 4 retracement, right? So that would mean this bull run that we are at the moment most likely just in the middle of will be the 5th wave of that 5th wave, right? And that is interesting for several things. For example, first, we can see how we have quite a strong rise right now, or we have had for the past year and a half. Quite a strong rise, and it's the first time we see we're getting so close to the all-time high prior to the halving. In the previous run, we always had where is my halving indicator? I don't remember, but we had a halving around here during this consolidation. After this, we ran quite heavily. The halving was somewhere into this breakout. I don't remember exactly, but it was a lot more prior to the big bar, to the bull run, right? And here we already have quite a quite a strong pace, to say the least. And what that could lead to, well, is potentially a lot shorter bull run than what we have seen in the past. Meaning that with this in mind, we could very well be, already being into new all-time high prior to the halving, of course, because we are so close to it. So, unless we go into consolidation right now for a month or two, which is possible, and we're gonna see this after. But yeah, unless we get this, well, we could very well be into new all-time highs in the coming days, weeks, right? Which means that we're gonna be in price discovery while the halving happen, and that could mean that we're gonna find a top around that event or maybe a bit after it. But overall, could project a top for this bull run just like prior to summer. And I think that is a very, very sensible case to have in mind, right? And the fact that we had so little, we had a nice consolidation over summer last year, but overall it was very shallow dips, very shallow retrace, right? And like almost none since September, right? We had a bit on the ETF launch, but comparatively that's not so much, especially if you compare to the Wave 2 here. What we had after the first initiation here. Here we had a lot of quite deep retracement as well. And so this kind of behavior, well, what does it do? Well, it tends to make people chase price up, right? Because if you're starlighting, waiting for a deep retrace, well, you end up just chasing price up. And that's what this kind of price action do. It makes people chase price. As simple as that. And try to short it, which is fuel even more aggressive price and what we are seeing right now. But that also, what that might lead to, well, is a lot shorter bull market, because in that case, if people are chasing too much and there is no retracement or very quick retracement, because we'll have deep like we had yesterday, right? Still, but it does prepare people for that, and as soon as we start to get a big pullback, whatever it is, people are gonna buy the dip because it's sold into the bull run or what they sold to. And so right now, yeah, I have a target. So this is a provisional target for the halving. So not necessarily when we will hit. This is gonna be, it can be a bit later, right? But the main target that I had for this whole time, for this bull run, still kind of the same, right? Let me just add something here, which is about 240k. And we'll see, because we have an intermediary target for the subwave 3 of that fifth, right? But around that, that's where we have also the rainbow target. Now you can see how in this rainbow log curve, here we hit the red zone, and here we started to see less gain. So might be a bit more into the yellow zone or green zone, which might reach this target when we reach the top potentially. And so that is my main target. And so we're gonna dive into the bit lower time frame count. I'm just gonna share maybe a few alternatives that we have, maybe something more bullish. But yeah, and to know that if this is the correct count, that means that after that fifth wave, we most likely gonna enter into a lot longer, quote unquote, bear market. Doesn't necessarily have to retrace everything, would be preferably that it doesn't, in fact. But the idea is that we will be retracing the how many 13 years 14 years of bull market here, so potentially 10 years before seeing another all-time high after that. With this kind of consolidation, we can like maybe think that we'll still consolidate above or into that zone, right? Because usually if this is the end, that doesn't mean it is the end of Bitcoin, of course. I mean that it could be the end of a larger macro wave one, right? But I mean that we could, spend some time into that zone, and usually wave two retrace into the lesser degree wave four, which, well, it could be here or here, right? And in fact, we have an alternative count as well, which is an alternative bull count that says that we could be entering into a macro 4, so that will still lead to quite some drawdown. It could be similar, in fact, that even if it is a 2 or 4 at that point. Bear count is close to being validated here, right? As soon as we print new all-time high, pretty much, and mid bear pretty much as well. I mean, we could be in a flat still, so we could sweep the high and come back into this. But for now, that's not how it looks like. So yeah, pretty much that. Who is in the chat here? Let me check before I follow up. Modipilo is here. Hello. Ivilo Stevanov. Good morning. Good afternoon for me, but good morning to you. Got wrecked on that 25k range, lost my account. Wow. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, that 25, that was not a funny part. Where to buy leverage BTC now? Well, we're gonna see this in a bit. Is it still possible that this is a wave P? Well, everything is possible, so we could say it's a wave P, but unless there is sign of it, for me to consider this as a macro wave B here, we'll need to, well, at least retrace all the week here first, and then come back below 38. At that point, well, maybe we can come back onto more bearish stuff, but we're gonna take step by step. We'll need to have a pretty bearish weekly close for that, which is nothing impossible, right? But not what we are seeing so far. We have been a strong recovery locally from yesterday dump. I still think there is a good potential that we do retrace inside here. So I think a bit of short here, maybe a sweep of the highs, still possible according to that count. But yeah, we'll come back into that in a minute. Yeah, after that we're gonna dive into the bit lower time frame count here, a bit more locally. And so no, it's in Bybit chart that I have that kind. So the idea here is from 2020 low, 22, sorry. We have a 1-2 here in the process of a big third, which have a target around 100k, a bit above. This is really approximative target. I want to see this go a bit beyond, in fact. So yeah, they take it wide, but the idea is that we are in the third and that we are in a sub 1-2 here in the sub third of that third. Right. So initially, and as much as last week or last few days ago, I was still looking at this as potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So building sub-wave 1, sorry, that's a nasty one, sub-wave 1 of that wave, of that third, of the bigger third, or the bigger fifth, right? And that we could retrace into this. I would say at that moment, it is still a valid count, right? Conservative here. And we're going to see how on the lower time frame it is still valid. We went a bit beyond what we would usually expect. It's still valid. What makes me a bit doubtful about this, it's mostly the volume, which is kind of crazy, sustained volume, especially starting on Monday here, right? So this kind of volume is not really the characteristic of a fifth, unless it is a blow-off top. But for now, it is not a blow-off. You know, when we look especially at the daily close here, the 12-hour close, whatever, sustain at the high. Keeping in mind a higher time frame, as I said earlier, well, should we close the week below 52, basically? And maybe it starts to look like a potential blow-off, but at that point, can in between. Nonetheless, it's remain a valid ID, and we could see some drawdown, which would be valid anywhere between the 38.5 to the top we have right now, right? It can be rather shallow or not. In that case, I will have on main target to go below 50k. Not necessarily straight down, right? You know, straight down is blow off top that's gonna take back all the count, but if we do this, maybe we have a bit more consolidation for March, and we can be a bit more in between, right? But you can also just sustain here and write down and come back and sweep and continue, right? But so that's, that is still valid at the moment. Now, with this kind of strength, I had to come with a new ID, right? Because, well, maybe we would just kind of blow from here and go a bit more aggressive, as the name of my folder suggests here. And so the idea here is simply that, well, instead of building a subwave 1 here, and with this kind of volume, we may be into the third of the third of the third already. And in that case, we'll have, you know, very shallow wave 2s here, and we'll be targeting yellow third here, about 88,000. So that could send us to $88,000 by pretty much in a few weeks, couple months, right? But yeah, it could come really quick, and can still find a bit of confluences here. It's just for the sub count of that third that's becoming a bit complex for me. But it's depend how we behave on the more local price section. But if we get another move, like, yeah, really into the next 2 weeks, really aggressive and start to go crazy, well, yeah, that might be it. But yeah, as I said, the problem is how you count that subwave 3. Because otherwise, target for the higher degree is fine, target for the higher degree is fine, and target for the higher degree is fine. So that could work, and that, yeah, at some point we'll have a larger wave 4 consolidation, most likely, and have a few runs still, but can indeed give us a top by summer, basically. So that seems crazy, but that's what this week price action is telling. Sorry, I'm checking something on the computer. No, okay, it's fine. How is the volume on Binance? How is the volume on Binance? I don't know. I mean, it's pretty much same, right? Maybe a bit lower. Out of volume cam on Coinbase. I have the aggregated spot here. Coinbase, Binance spot, Finex. What getting me still not giving up, and the idea that we're still gonna still have potential for some drawdown in March here. Well, firstly, seasonality for Bitcoin is more of a bearish month for March, right? Unless you Rastani made a video about it recently, I think. But for me, more importantly, I'm seeing how Bitfinex have been selling quite heavily. Well, we saw a bit of distribution already starting into the 51k, which flipped around here, basically, and here. No, that's where I started to flip a bit more bullish, we'll say. But still, they sold all the way here, topping out at a $350 discount here. That's also why I'm gonna have a target just to sweep this low in mind, and as this might be a bit of a preliminary distribution here, that's where that's what can become support next, into a reaccumulation. Gonna have your preliminary support and a rise into a buying climax, and then your preliminary supply gonna become your support overall. And as these wells did sold all the way up here, now they have cash on hand to buy back a drawdown, right? And this becomes support, obviously. We saw also Tether and Binance selling off during that rise. So basically, buying came mainly from American exchange, right? So Coinbase, Gemini, Bitstamp, whatever. Not sure Bitstamp is, but the Tether exchange, Binance, and Bitfinex did sold during this rise. Now we see that Tether came back into a bit of a premium here, pushing here, so, and diminishing a bit of the selling pressure as we rise. It's coming back here, but quite a good amount of Bitcoin have been distributed from them. I'm wondering if maybe they've been freeing up some cash to reallocate it into altcoins, because we're gonna see altcoins after I finish Bitcoin, and there is a lot of good setup. So that could be part of the reason. I'm just speculating here, trying to understand what happened, but yeah, just speculation, maybe. Now, any question? Chat's intern. Any question is the possible? Okay. Yeah. So, if we look at the target at this, so yeah, we had a valid wave 4, so especially as we sweep the low, that's where, there's a good potential here for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have the 1,618 at the most extended target that we could see for a fifth here. So that was not my initial target. I was looking more at, well, here, more conservative into this 58 and the naked POC. So, but we're still in par for it. And if we look at the lower time frame count, I had to redraw that quite a few times. The main excess is into this minor fifth here. If we see, we go well beyond that target, but in some kind of bluff, that's okay. And the sub count is still okay. Initially, I had my wave 4 finishing into some kind of upsloping triangle WXY here. So that's why I was looking for a top around here and then just gave up at that point. But taking the wave 4 down to here, we have enough sub 1, 2 for it to go all the way up. It's just that wave 4 is a bit beyond the target, but in between it worked pretty fine. And so now what? Well, that would mean that the first leg down is just the first leg down of this correction. And if we take how long we took to get up to here, so, you know, as long as we don't take the high with how things getting, you know, if we get an SFP of the high and keep in, I will kind of allow it at that point. You know, at some point, technical analysis is as good as market allow it. But the overall is still in bar, you know. But yeah, that will lead to at least a week, potentially a month, right, until beginning of April for a correction here. And so might be into wave 1 and go into 3, 4, 5 and crunch here and come back here and then go. Probably not as simple and clear as such an ABC, but yeah, that will be possible. Now, if like I say, my problem gonna be for the most bullish case here, which would tend to, let me think that, yeah, maybe that's the one. Yeah, I don't have it on this. But you know, the idea is a 1, 2, 1, 2 here. That we are still into the third. So a sub 1, 2 here, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2 here, 3, 4, 5, and so this is lesser degree, higher degree. No, this is higher degree. This is lesser. And so, you know, if I'm taking just this obvious 1, 2 here, I can hardly extend this more, but knowing that we have a target on this which is not so far away in terms of extension, and when we enter into bull market, you know, the target gonna get outpassed. So if, you know, it's 3, 4 and we got a maxi 5 that doesn't make sense, and that's how we reach. So maybe we are just into some kind of sub 4 here. That's how I would read it. The fib target not gonna necessarily make a lot of sense, but again, in the middle of a bull market, you can allow the target to get outpassed. And so in that case, yeah, maybe just in correction here. So I was looking at the comparison with basically 2020 pre-breakout here. You know, that's kind of the idea. You have a bit of a distributional phase here, and you enter into a buying climax where you get an heavy rug to this, and I will compare it to this rug. So it's not the same time frame, but we are going a lot quicker, so that's why. But we're comparing a 4 hour with a 15 minutes, a lot of differences. But in terms of, you know, characteristic, you push into the FOMO and then you rug, so just prior to getting into your all-time high, so that's kind of the same, and you have quite an aggressive rise back up. So the idea, yeah, it will be that could be into ST. So if we do a lower high here, that will give a bit more room to maybe go below the low that we printed yesterday. That was, yeah, and you know, maybe even test the POC here. If we are getting above the high prior to it, maybe we can look at the higher low a bit more like this. In that case, you know, might be just simply putting putting some kind of trend line where you see it. This, yeah, this one interesting. What we could be looking at is at this point the high volume node into this, where we will have a bit of liquidity below this or that. But ideally, if we start to get acceptance here back below basically the daily open, I would be happy to see this coming back to the low of the range. Optimally, at least, yeah, sweeping the low and maybe, as I say, come back testing the POC of this. Might be pulling a 1-1 extension, but we'll probably see a bit of acceleration and liquidation because the range is so wide and leverage so high because people get so wrecked that, you know, especially on derivative, it might go a bit beyond your ideal. But at that point, your ideal entry, you know, just a bit like this, is on the secondary test. You usually end up into a selling climax, you have a big bounce, and you come back retesting a bit to time. In fact, for me, got stopped on about of long on that run, and I re-enter only on that part, right? And I think there's a good probability that we still consolidate a bit here. But depending if we take the high or not here prior to having a bit more drawdown, that's gonna change it. If we don't, I would really want to see this slow get sweep or even have a bit of deviation, you know. And if it accelerate down, then you know we might be entering into a third, and the problem is where do you pull your fib, because it's going to be very different depending on the exchange here. Maybe we have a truncation, but basically it will send us to easily 55 and even 50k. It could really accelerate down if we see such a thing, if we are in the conservative count where we are entering into wave 2 and have a bearish weekly close. But you know, weekly open is somewhere in here, right? Friday, Monday, somewhere into here, right? Again, is that volume? I'm kind of doubtful. So yeah, what was the target of? Look, posted and just a simple chart. Because for me, in this kind of moment where I don't really have the obvious count here, it's gonna be complex. But yeah, basically looking at these lows here, that makes sense, right? Yeah, basically that as a flat, especially if we take the higher. Well, for now we are not, but could be in a long here as well, you know, because we're just, for now we are defending daily. For now we have a 3-wave down again. We have a bounce in the middle. We took the low. Wow, it's lagging. But we can have an ABC. Might enter too long with a stop below the low here. Not financial advice, but you know, I will not be opposed to something like this. The risk reward is good enough here with take profit high and let it run. Because at that point, if you start to take that low again with liquidity enough, I don't think we necessarily need to. In fact, I think I'm gonna open a little long here. Gonna give it a try. You know, you stop below this, but you can give it a few ticks of room in case of. Where is my chat? That's my chat. Does it make sense to look at the target on log now? Yeah, always, you know. always makes sense. For me, do I use few extension tool on log, on linear? I often use two and I'm looking for my confluences. But yeah, during this kind of movement, usually I'm more often than not on log, right? There's only the weird part where I'm looking at the macro third target on linear, because in the past it kind of gave a bit more precise, well, yeah, relatively more precise target. But otherwise, yeah, I'm always using log, because when you are in a smaller spread price action, you don't have so much difference, and when it starts to make difference, you're already in log. It's, yeah, sensible. But so yeah, that's what I'm gonna be looking at. I think I'm forgetting something here. Yeah, no, Wyckoff stuff. No, we're all gonna be talking about Halcon next. And in fact, that's what I've been doing a lot more here. It's loading up on Halcons during the dips, and they have been recovering for most of them a lot better, right? A lot of them have printed new highs and are going, and I have many Halcon that just didn't got stopped. Anyway, well, you know, many longs didn't get stopped either on the Bitcoin here, but yeah, even long that I took yesterday on Halcons earlier, got many that just keep running. So that's pretty much it. Like often, I wish I would have a definitive answer here. I'm just think it's important to have this in mind, you know, not being too, like I've been saying for weeks, you know, even if I was looking for local tops, little shorts, being aware so far we're in a bull run, we don't we don't have signs of slowdown yet. We don't have signs of weakness yet. So letting my longs run, my spot back run, taking maybe a bit of profit when you get crazy day like yesterday, when things really getting crazy, and where I'm feeling me even the foremost at the moment, where I'm even gonna, you know, sell some position. Because yeah, of course, yesterday when we were into that pump, honestly, we are going past my target, and I don't know what to do anymore. This is going straight to your all-time high, and at that point you get the right, obviously. Well, in fact, yeah, we are seeing to this. So, you know, what I would love to see here, for me, it's more consolidation, but I have no idea we'll get that, right? But if we get something like this, that would be perfect. A march of choppiness drawdown, that would be perfect. Oh, there is one event as well, anecdotal, but significant nonetheless. Coinbase going down or having technical issues during just at the top. It's kind of a significant event, you know, because historically when Coinbase go down, it have been pretty good top or bottom, right? And I'm wondering, I have no proof, I'm making no accusation, I'm just making speculation, but you know, seeing how we have seen quite some spot selling here, especially at limits, and quite some position trying to keep underwater here, short position trying to keep underwater here. I'm wondering if they are not being like, and seeing the volume as well, if they're not being like some big buyer coming up and pushing seller into their limits, and why we end up seeing this kind of rug pull where you see big flush on open interest, so you have surely take profits, but that can also be to allow the short exposure to be released at a a little lesser loss here, which most likely a good part of this open interest is both long and short on the same entities, but yeah. Oh, we are seeing a bit of movement down here. Yeah, we are losing it, so we're coming back into the range, so yeah. Now I'm gonna let it go a bit, yeah, okay, let it drop. I will guess we have some kind of flat here, and so, yeah. Yeah, I think we're in the middle of the third here. I think there's good potential we go to the lows at that point, because it looks like we're in a 1, 2, 3 still. Do we print a higher degree 1, 2, 3 here, or are we gonna extend this to 261.8? That's the question. Gonna wait for a bit of consolidation, you know. If I see enough consolidation comparable to this in terms of time, I'm gonna think we are maybe into the 4 that degree and 5th. Trying to count the long time frame here, and, you know, gonna let it sit. It can be a lot more choppy as well. Might be continuing to come back here and reject again. Well, now it's holding a bit. I'm gonna let it play a bit. You know, if it really is that to straight back up, then at that point I will position rather on to the next retrace. But now I'm gonna let it play. What was I saying? Yeah, open interest, just that, yeah. Maybe a force closure to really a bit. Well, we can see how there is big exposure here as well. Still holding up. And also aggressive long that have been pushing price here and holding up. Interestingly enough, BitMEX, which have not the worst track record, BitMEX trader, still quite into aggressive long here. Nonetheless, I might want to see them flush down, but you know, they've been saying how they went into aggressiveness here and here getting flushed a bit, but still flushed a bit. But you see how they, yeah, when you see this with open interest, kind of often in the trend here. Now they're underwater. So now a quick look at altcoins, and I'm gonna be off unless you have question. Oh, that was a bit enlightening. Yeah, okay, all good. So yeah, altcoins. Yeah, you know, many. I'm, you know, I made a little thread earlier. It's really the simple stuff. You know, I don't hesitate to like and comment and retweet and whatever, of course. But I talked about that last week, right? It's still the same. Looking at this kind of behavior for comparison, but a simple, simple reversal structure, right? With nicest confluence being the POC 200 daily being reclaimed, retested positively. So here we are, AV, we have Doge, FTM, Hash Bar, Clay, Atom. Yeah, it's going nice, and in fact, yeah, we're not totally down on that, but if you check as well the BTC pair, you know, to have a bit more insight. But so far, Doge, you know, I've been positioning Doge going nicely here, very nicely. Very nice structure here, retest of POC 200 daily after a breakout. After a break of the downtrending move, you can see volume on daily starting to picking up here. 12 hour. So it's good volume. But you have your good volume on the break here coming back. Consolidation into lesser volume. Then volume coming back into an impulse. Retest, lower volume, and volume coming back into a break here. And if we look at the BTC pair, what do we have? We have like a year hold year holds 3-day bull div here, so probably a weekly bull div as well. Monthly is not oversold, so whatever. But yeah, and at some point, I believe that this is gonna work, and I think it might be on this move. In fact, now locally it might be retracing still, especially if Bitcoin retrace the USDT pair might retrace. But at some point, we're gonna reclaim that 200 dailies that have been resistant for over a year here, and at that point, you might see this kind of movement, right? So quite a strong setup. Volume coming up. Yeah, that was on the BTC pair that we see volume coming back up. Quite a break of volume here on this move. Very interesting. I like it. There's others. Had not the cutest chart here. It's already rising, but yeah, AV, quite oversold, making lower lows on the BTC pair. Sweeping, yeah, we sweep the low of November 2020, 3.5 years ago. Just with that, kind of oversold condition. And when we look at the USDT pair, starting to see a nice reaccumulation structure that is breaking out. POC is a bit lower, but you have quite fat volume here, so you have your nice structure here. Why not I have the labeling? Oh, it's because it's on the other chart. AV, AV, AV. Yeah, volume contraction, volume impulse here, and sustaining volume, retest of POC. Here we go, the POC is here on Binance. 200, at some point we're gonna break out this. And you can see how on the, locally, after the Wyckoff yesterday, we're already making new highs. After you're gonna see a lot of structure like this on many altcoins, and old ones are not gonna necessarily be the best performing. Maybe the one with less chart data are gonna be the best performing, but I cannot rechart them. So people like Luke gonna be more insightful for that. But Aptos is starting to get old enough to have the same kind of structure, already a bit outperforming. Arbitratum, already performing here. But Avax was another one. Already break out of the structure. On the path, because you have a double structure here. You need to claim this, but after you claim 58, you're gonna go into price discovery, basically, right? Or you might have a bit of consolidation here. And this is on the BTC pair. In fact, it looked like a nice impulse. ABC down, retrace to 200 with what? Yeah, nearly. Golden pocket on linear. So that's where I will still keep an eye on linear, especially for the golden pocket. Yeah, dot not so bad. BTC pair again quite oversold. But the USDT pair starting to break out thanks to Bitcoin, of course. But yeah, that can lead to some flow of money into Bitcoin here. Hash bar breaking out might be a bit toppy here, but yeah. And did I want to look at? Oh, I didn't look at that for a long time. So I guess we're somewhere into this, maybe. Well, that can be more extension. We can extend that set. Oh, yeah, what I wanted to look at is Bitcoin dominance here. If you look at historically, you rather want to position a bit early in these icons. And, has the flow going from an altcoin to another doesn't necessarily show on the Bitcoin dominance, because that's going to be against all altcoins. But, well, that was the biggest altcoin runs, of course, 2017, 18, 17. Otherwise, you still have most of your altcoin gains at the end of the run, during the wave 4, end of the third, 4 and 5th, and that's where altcoin top after it. You can see on lower time frame as well, I believe. During your wave 4 here, 5th, the Bitcoin regained a bit. During your, yeah, somewhere, during your consolidation. So especially if we enter into a March, month of March of consolidation, gonna be your best play. It's, yeah, altcoins. And if you're underexposed and you missed opportunity on Bitcoin, that might be a bit of play, because as well, at some point when they're gonna go really heavy, you're gonna have a lot more potential on that, right? Of course, it's a bit more of a gamble, because you don't know which one gonna go and how much. But I think most of them gonna go at some point. And here you have easily a 3-5x potential, while on Bitcoin, you might get it, but you have a main target at the moment on around 120k, so a 2x. While on this, you can easily do a 3x. Have to do the research what is more solid, but yeah, and maybe don't spend too much energy on the whole one, like Litecoin or Neo, even if Litecoin is also showing this kind of behavior. Wait, Litecoin here. No, 200 daily, and we see volume coming back on Litecoin on perpetual, which is interesting to me, because we see volume dying on spot and against BTC, but we see how volume coming back on this. But we have a perfect retest here, or breakout of the 200 and POC in confluences here, and a very, very oversold, well, yeah, very crappy chart on the BTC pair. But so, you can also easily pull a 50% against Bitcoin here just to retest the 200, and the trend line gonna be maybe a 100% against Bitcoin. Try can outperform Bitcoin by twice, even with this, which I will not necessarily recommend as the best opportunity. At some point, they will have this kind of, you just have to take profit when it comes. When you start to have good gains, you cut in half, and you can reallocate somewhere else. Non-financial advice, you do what you want, but yeah. So it seems that we're gonna hold it and chop around here. We just tested 122, don't even have a target, don't even have a count here. Getting choppy, getting complicated for a low time frame AOTN here. Sorry, that's a miss here. For me, that was a bit in the middle of nowhere. And still, it might be finding resistance here. It might be just a retest of the broken resistance. Still gonna wait a bit lower, I think, or see more trends. Maybe if you break this, you might consider re-entering into high-low. Probably need to go beyond this, though. Fill that gap. But yeah, I'm just thinking we do have the shape of an impulse on the 1 minute, for sure. It's 3, 4, 5. I tempt the golden pocket or the 50. Well, yeah. Anyway, that's how it is. Shortcoming name. Yeah. For now, we are back into the range, so I want to be patient and wait for the green zone. And if it's coming, if it continue into the range, if we don't reclaim that daily here, I will want to see the low get taken. That's my option. Yeah. At what point will you be considering entering new hard position? But for now, I've been entering. Mostly last week. Now, any time you have a big dip, yesterday, just loading a bit more. I know if you're starting to see Bitcoin getting into a big dip, sweep the low, yeah, I will be entering Bitcoin. But if my altcoin insight are into a higher low, I might enter a bit more into altcoin as well. Sometimes I will just look at where is Bitcoin potentially bottoming, and at that point I will enter into altcoins, not necessarily looking at the altcoin chart too precisely. Still looking at it, of course, but yeah, I would need to. Well, I would need to. Well, I wouldn't be a loss if it sweeps the low and just continue to be a big flush. Altcoin will get stopped as well, but yeah, after on structure like this, if things are bullish, we might be in a 1-2, 1-2. No, 1-2. I don't really know where. If it start to have a bit more drawdown, while we have a 1-2-3-4-5 structure potentially, even if we have slight overlapping here, light point, I will look for higher low or sweep of that. The sweep of that. I think I will rather bet on a higher low on most of them that I've been retesting here nicely in January. So the more it come down, the more I'll bet on it. Things get nasty, everything's possible, etc. But yeah, the closer we come to the low, the more position here. Ethereum is a bit more complex. Well, a bit more complex. The count is really not obvious to me. Trade Ethereum, especially alongside Bitcoin. Well, Dodge is gonna be complex here to now because we're really, really high now. I think when did I have my last entry on Dodge here? Oh, that's yesterday. Where is it here? I had an entry at 97. Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's an entry I took prior to the red right here. So as well, maybe if you start to see, I don't really want to see Bitcoin going right away here, but you might also go into strengths, right? a bit of consolidation here. I'm ready to get a bit more if half sweep. With a sweep here, that's an entry. We could be following into that and defending the low, and if you get sweep, that's another entry to see if it continues the trend. Where do we have VWAP here? Here. Yeah, anchor VWAP, not the worst here. If you sweep a low like this and recover, that's your entry. Yeah, I think there's good potential. We're still in the middle of the third, so it continue. If it doesn't, it can retrace to the golden pocket. But it seems that we're still in the middle of the third here. That could see quite explosion, I think. I will allow myself a bit of FOMO into this. It's just that when I go into a FOMO position, as soon as I see a move like this, I take half profit, and wait. So if I were to position in here, or in here, and I see this, well, I will have to take profit somewhere into this. I'm just gonna put an alarm. Wait, if there's a rejection, I got half, and if it's bump, got half a bit higher, right? And let you try and keep your stop at break even or whatever. All right. Yeah, a different strategy to have. But at the moment where you can get a bit more aggressive and look at lower time frame on tree and little sweep of liquidity. I rarely advocate for breakout trades because, well, or you give it some room, but here if you take a breakout trade of that, it can still be good with a stop here. You will have been safe, but good chances you get stopped. But at the end of the day, yeah, here, whatever breakout you took, if you keep your stop below the last low, you will have been safe here. Even here, if you took a breakout long and keep a stop below your last lows, you will still be in profit here. At some point, it's not going to work well, but yeah. Just consolidation. Sometimes even trend line are just simple trick. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be all for today. Maybe I will do another quick live stream tomorrow. I cover most of it today, so maybe not as long, but we'll see if there's something to say about Bitcoin, or if we're just shopping around in this range. I might not do one, but yeah. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the like. Thanks for everything. Participation. Hope it was interesting, helpful in any way. Hope you're all okay, and yeah, have a good evening. Take care. See you very soon. Bye-bye.